The hottest guys around.
An international phenomenon.
He's selling millions of records.
But is it their real hit?
They are unstoppable right now.
Dancers who couldn't even sing.
The lip-syncing liars.
We once were the biggest stars on the planet. And you know why? Because we gave you what you wanted.
Yo.
Oh, yeah, baby. Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Alert. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, Real Reviews, we're back. We're here to discuss Girl You Know It's True, the Milli Vanilli story.
I'm excited for this, bro. I didn't think you were going to say yes. I don't know why. I didn't feel like this was worthy for the Real Review team. You know what I'm saying?
No, I definitely thought it was worthy. I didn't even know that they were doing a scripted version because I watched the documentary that dropped last year on Paramount Plus, so I didn't even know that it was actual feature film coming. So when you showed it, I was like, oh yeah, especially since I didn't want to watch Alien Romulus this week. So
facts. If another person asked me, "Come on, bro, it ain't that bad. Come on, y'all." Nah, bro, I passed on the face break. I'm good.
Yeah, we're definitely good on that. So, for those of you guys who don't know who Milli Vanilli is, which, you know, there's probably quite a few of our followers that don't know, but this was a pop band or duo.
Yes.
Yeah. That were basically in the 80s going into the 90s. They were topping the charts, number one. And they started off overseas and ended up blowing up in the U.S. And as they got bigger and bigger, they started getting more exposure. And then it ended up coming out that they weren't the ones actually performing the songs that we all came to love and that made them famous. That they were actually just the face, but there was some real artists behind them. And that's basically what this movie is, the telling of that story. Now, JS, I want to ask you, since this is based on true events, don't you think we should be able to just speak freely about this?
I'm 100%. However you want to do this, I'm down. We can have a raw conversation. I'm willing to have that. Thank you.
I think we should. I don't think we can discuss this without key points that's going to be considered spoilers. So if you don't know the story, go watch it, then come back and enjoy this review because we're just going to talk freely about this.
That's a fact. Or, I mean, do you want to do like a short, minute review and then we get into the talk? Do you want
to? We can try and do it.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. I'll do a show just for the people. You know what I mean?
Just all right for the people because we got people that's probably curious. All right, so I'm just gonna get into. I think we already kind of covered initial impression when we talked about we thought it was worth doing. So. Highs and lows very briefly for me. The high is that the way the story was told, I thought it was an interesting perspective. You know what I'm saying? I thought I knew everything and I didn't. No, it's a lot. Yeah. No clue, right? So I thought I knew everything and didn't. So that, and then the way they told it. Also another high for me was definitely the fact that we got. See, there we go. Try not to spoil. All right, so I will just say that besides the fact that we got stuff that we didn't know, I felt like there was a lot of moments where we got other people's perspective as well. You know, when we got this big reveal back in the days, the media just made it look like they fooled us, but there was so many people behind it, and I was just like, man. So that was big for me. That was really big for me. And then also the credit that they gave to the people that actually really made it happen. Giving a little bit more of that story and people that were impacted by the decisions they made. I thought it was phenomenal. Lows for me very quickly. I would just say, sometimes the breaking the fourth wall, talking to us, that I wasn't really feeling it. I didn't want it, but I understood why they were doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I thought you would have walked away enjoying it as much as I did, but go ahead.
No. I felt like maybe if I don't know. I can't really say what it was about it, but it just wasn't really working for me. By the end of the film, I was used to it, so I was cool with it. And the way it ended, I was like, okay, cool. But for the most part, I wasn't really feeling that. And then another thing was the downtown Julie Brown casting. That pissed me the fuck off. But anyway.
Yo, that's real. Thank you.
Yeah.
I wish you had said something because I would have did the side by side comparison. This is who they chose, and this is who this person really is. And they were like night and day.
Right,
like,
right. Yeah. So I mean that was probably the biggest low for me. I came out with more highs than lows. The little things that bother me, it's not even sticking. I can't even remember now. So let's have you go ahead and give your.
I am thoroughly amazed at this film. I am proud to say that I was a purchaser of the Milli Vanilli CD. Oh, no, I'm sorry, this is before the CD. I was a proud purchaser of the Milli Vanilli tape when I was a kid, and I played that damn tape front to back to front. So when they are talking about the creation of these records and playing them, it's like goosebumps, like, you know what I mean? And seeing this, I have to 100% agree with you. There's so much of the story I didn't know. I love the fact that they took the time to tell us the story, but not go so deep that I would get bored with it. It was enough detail to really kind of show you all the players and what they did on the playing board, but they don't take so much to where it's not exciting. It's like once this thing gets rolling, it ramps up and it's going 80 miles an hour throughout the whole film. And you get to see everything from the rise and the fall. And then even just the twists and turns at the end. My highs are the storyline, the acting. I felt like the two guys that played Milli and Vanilli, even though I don't know jack about Milli and Vanilli, it sold it for me 100%. I was in. I saw the crazy hair and the working out and I was just like, yo, you know what I mean? That's something that's super important is when I look at some characters and I believe that that's Milli Vanilli, I think they did a great job. And then at the end of the film, when they were really showing the Milli Vanilli, I was like, it don't look what it feels like. I feel like they embodied the essence of what the two guys were. Super important. The rest of the actors on there, super important. I think they did such a great job. The flow of the film, the sentiment, Yo, I don't know about you, but there was so many 80s moments. I was like, I remember that jacket. Oh, I remember. Like, I'm like a kid again. Like, you know what I'm saying? The older cars and the architecture. You know what I'm saying? Like, they did such a great job of finding the right buildings and the right places that kind of were new in the 80s and the 90s, and like putting those characters in there. Beautiful job, man. I'm looking at the look, they got the dial phones and oh my god. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, when that girl went in the kitchen and answered the phone on the wall, it took you back, didn't it?
It took me back. Like, oh my god, it was so much. So I love that. I feel like they did such a good job with that. Even down to the only part that kind of took me out is like they were like there's a kid riding a bike through Baltimore at one point, and I'm like, what part of Baltimore is this?
I thought about you when I saw that.
Yeah, right. I was like, I just don't none of this look like Baltimore at all. But you know what? It's fine. You know what I mean? If I was to say lows, so I love the fourth wall, and I'm not trying to say what they did at the end was bad, but I wanted something different. So I'm gonna ding them a little bit for it, and we'll get into it when we get into the discussion. Other than that, this had me very emotional. The whole roller coaster had me emotional, and I was very, I was happy, I was sad, like I shed a couple of tears, like. And to me, that's the essence of when you have a great film and when you're telling a great story. But first of all, like, it's funny because we were talking off air a couple of days ago, Ron, Eddie, and me, and Ron's talking about, can anybody just tell somebody's story? And I'm like, yeah, pretty much. But like, the essence of a great film is having a great story. And like, man, that piece of history washed over us so many years ago. We stopped thinking about it. But the fact that they just picked this thing, and it's just a beautiful roller coaster. It's a beautiful horror story to a certain extent. And like, I there was no way for me to nitpick because I was so caught up. I think they did such a great job with so many things that, just like you said, I can't even remember the things that might have missed the mark or been a little bit of this and a little bit. And even some things, if I wanted to pick it apart, it's really about the character and how the character's acting in the story. But that's the reason why the story is the story. Like, you know what I mean? So I can't really beef about it. Like, that's just what it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? So let's get to rating this between let's get the rating going really quickly.
Spoiler-free rating.
The spoiler-free rating. Is it classic? Is it a good watch? Is it catch on streaming? Is it not doing it for you? Or is it a oh hell no? Or if you ever show me this ever again, I will. Oops. Oh no.
If you ever show me this again, I will. Yes. Yeah, that's a genuine rating right there.
If you ever show me this again, I will slap you. First this time, I guess I'm an 80s bitch, so I'm gonna say it's a classic. It's a classic, baby. I'm so happy I bought this. It is definitely one of the finer, shinier points of my collection now. So I'd be like, have you seen Girl You Know It's True? Oh, we're gonna watch this. Gonna put this on. Like, it's definitely that for me. It hit all of the marks for me. I really enjoyed it, and that's all I gotta say. Eddie, what about you?
Well, I know you hate when we agree, but I'm gonna have to give it a classic. Yeah, I didn't have I probably didn't have the emotional connection that you had, but I was still very invested. I love the telling the story, and I guess when we get into our spoiler talk, I can peel some layers back and really get into it. But I still thought very well done. People need to watch the story. I think it's educational. Mm-hmm. You know, in so many ways, and then it's also just like kind of like just eye opening. Like, oh wow, okay, yeah. So it's definitely a classic, and then of course the music takes us back. So I got that attachment for sure.
I'm definitely gonna agree, and I wanted to add one last thing. I can watch this and see that they didn't have a gigantic budget. They did have a budget, but it wasn't big, and they really utilized this budget perfectly. I mean, every choice was magnifique, man. Like
except for who they cast for Downtown Julie Brown. All right.
Exactly. I'm sorry. I apologize. That was the only misstep. You know what I mean? As far as using that budget.
Real reviews, live and unapologetic at vvclife.com.